a vlog about Universal Credit. And in a way, this is where Universal Credit fails the people, really, because I had to borrow for a series of, I've done this now twice. My first time was it last year, beginning of this year, like January time, and now it's like December. But I borrowed it so I borrowed one Universal Credit, and I got the whole purpose of that was to actually get to work, which I did. And then during the middle of the year, it got a bit quiet again, so I had to go on Universal Credit again, and I had to reclaim because Universal Credit closed my original account, despite me owing my first 370, and then I've had to borrow the award via a series of little loans on my second 370, right? But this is where I am now. I've now come to an end with my subs via work. They're all paid up, and but it got me to. I got from a week last week where I didn't think I'd even get through. Yeah, and I borrowed a sub on Tuesday, which got me through to Friday. How on earth I got through? I don't know, but I got through to Friday. But I've done 5 days work last week, so like next week now gives me a week. Yeah, as we're coming up towards it's about 3 weeks towards Christmas. But I've got my insurance out of the way. I paid my insurance. I've got my car taxes paid till next year. I've got my MOT till next year. So for like living car life, all my bills now until like end of December are okay. So all I need is food and fuel, and like next week I've got a full week. So which is for a change, yeah. Especially as I'm on van, and I don't even want to go back to 7.5 ton and taco regs and all that rubbish. I don't want to go back to it. I don't think. I've had about 8 years of it, and van is ideal. I like driving a van, and it's I can't currently drive a 7.5 ton because I haven't got my driver's CPC. But I'm not really in any hurry to get it back, I suppose. I've got a few domain names. My portfolio is going. It's just falling through the floor effectively because I can't afford to renew them, so they're just expiring. So some of them will be in my videos. Some of these will expire. You only got to put them into GoDaddy GoValue or STBot, and you'll see what they're worth. But them being worth anything and selling them for what they're worth, it's a different matter. Excuse me, having a yawn. It's Saturday, so I think I'm allowed to. So yeah, but this is so Universal Credit now. I've got. It'll be a difficult week for me to get through. I don't know, because Universal Credit should do loans and charge an interest rate on a loan. Say like even 10% or whatever. Yeah, borrow 100 quid but pay 110 back or something. I don't know. Or even borrow 100 but pay 120 back. Something like that. It would help them, and it would help the people they lend to. Just decent interest rate that is workable for both people. The people that want to borrow, the people they could get a few quid extra. So my digital assets with domain names, there's not such a thing as a pawnbroker where I can't pawn them. Like you have like a TV or something, you can take it down the pawnbrokers, and they'll probably give you a few quid for it, and you'd be able to pawn it, and they could sell it on if you didn't pay, or you can get it back if you do pay. But there's no such thing in domain names as yet. There will be, but there's not as yet. Which is like, it's a bit like say you had like a guitar or something. You could pawn a guitar and then buy it back. But then when you get stuck again, you can just pawn the same guitar and you could do that. Get yourself, gives you like a lending stream, I suppose. Domain names is not so easy, although they are selling apparently. But I can't sell for toffee. So and there's a few of my domains I wouldn't want to sell, which puts me in this situation. But now, if I can get through this next week, which I should be able to do, hopefully, I've got enough. Well, a little bit of fuel, not a lot, but enough. And yeah, it's like the weekend now, so I've got 2 easy days, Monday and Tuesday, work booked already. Wednesday, well, Wednesday again. This is where agency comes in as well. For those that do agency work on Universal Credit, whatever. Well, not agency in general. If you're an agency worker, you can choose which jobs you go to, and okay, the companies that you get sent to, they can choose which agency person they want to have. That's their choice. But it's also your choice to actually decide not to do a certain day. I've got excuse me, that wasn't a code. But I've got a day that comes in on a Wednesday. But I'm already booked for a Wednesday, but another day comes in on the same Wednesday, so they cancel my originally booked Wednesday day, and they give me something else to a different company. I like going to both companies. Doesn't really matter which one. But when my originally booked Wednesday gets cancelled, so I go somewhere else for a Wednesday. There's a delivery that I cannot stand, so I've cancelled it. As an agency driver, you can say, well, I don't want to go there, and as long as you go there and try it out, you can. You can then say, I've been there. It's not for me. No thanks. And they'll find someone else to do that. But on the day that I get cancelled on my Wednesday, and the one that I get replaced with is the one that I get replaced with. I've cancelled a drop on that. Did it on that run, that route, because I'm not going to handball a ton up a plank onto a barrow into a lift, up the first flight of lift, then barrow it to a pallet, and then handball it off and go back down on a barrow, and then back, walking up a plank, 50 bags on your shoulder, 16 kilos each, up a plank, into a lift. So I've cancelled that drop, yeah? So I can't do that day on a Wednesday because of that particular drop. Or they have me in for half a day. I'll have half a day, but it won't be that drop. And they'll say, yeah, but that drop's on it. I'll say, here's your keys, help yourself. Yeah? So that's where my Wednesday is. It'll probably come in next week, but I've got to turn down on Wednesday. But I've got Monday and Tuesday at the moment. But there should be help from Universal Credit there should be a continuous lending stream, not just you can borrow up to your reward. You should have a lending account or a loan account effectively with Universal Credit. And Universal Credit should be able to deduct that at source from your wages. Just to say that they'll take 30 quid a week off you until you pay your original loans. And it's just like a never ending, but it actually helps you. It's like a lending facility for those that cannot borrow or lend or get a loan or whatever, yeah, but can still borrow from Universal Credit, but it's deducted from them each week. Or that each loan is taken back like a sub from work. It's paid back at the end of that pay week. So you borrow it during the week, but it's deducted from that week's payday. So you're always square with work, with your payroll, whatever, or Universal Credit. Just little some simple things that would actually ease the pressure on people that are actually claiming Universal Credit. Because it's the restrictiveness of Universal Credit that causes the financial hardship for those on it. It's the rules and regulations, and there's no need for them to exist. the strict restrictions on the borrowing or the payment side of universal credit. There should be like a Dragon's Den sort of thing, where people just say, well, basically, this is where a financial Dragon's Den looks at your situation and say, well, this is always going to cause you problems. So what we'll do, we'll pay this off for you. We'll just charge you so much a week, 20, 30 quid a week, whatever it is. And that will get rid of the obstacle that's stopping you from actually borrowing or whatever it is, or that you keep coming across. Problem you keep coming across. Or that's right. It should be like a person should actually take their financial situation to like a group of 5, 10, 15, 20 people in a room, and just explain their situation, or just actually, or they can actually look at the situation financially and refinance an individual so they don't keep coming across certain financial problems that stop them from progressing, I suppose you want to call it, in their careers and etc. So that's just where I see universal credit at the moment, and as long as I get through this next week, which I hope to be able to do. Obviously I'm working most of next week at least. And again, for agency people, this is when you have to prepare for January and February, because there will be no work in January or February for agency people. So you need to be able to put some money aside now for January and some money aside for your bills in February. And that's why living in a car, you don't have a rent payment in January, and you don't have a rent payment, so you can save like 400 to 800. You can save nearly £1,000 in rent if you live in your car January and February. Which means if on agency, if it gets quiet, and you'll see that on agency, you'll see people with vans in companies' car parks, because of the nature of agency work. It's very temperamental, very sporadic at times, which means you can't have £400 or £500 a month rent if you're living on your own, because you can't guarantee you'll actually earn that money to actually pay that rent. That's why people live in vans and cars on agency, but they live a flexible lifestyle, which is the perks of agency driving or agency work. That's the vlog. The data's gone, so thanks for listening. It's just an audio only. Yeah, but just the way I see universal credit, and it could improve itself by being less restrictive. And if you're an agency person, make sure you put some money away, because it gets a bit difficult January and February. I've only had about 8 years of it, of difficult, quiet January and February, which cause financial problems if you're renting. And that's it. That is a 13-minute vlog. Excuse me. A couple of yawns, and yeah, that's it. So now, time to get a paper. Adios.